What's up, guys? So sometimes I have people ask me about using alcohol temporarily to help them get off of smoking weed, or I'll also see people who will post in the group about how they're quitting. They're on, it's like their first week, but they've been having a couple glasses of wine every night or beer to help them get through the week. And so I just want to share my thoughts on that. First off, I hold no judgment. I know you can certainly drink and not be a full-blown alcoholic or anything like that, but I just wanted to share a message from the heart on that. And that is that when dealing with an addiction, when dealing with breaking addiction, it's very important to treat the beginning stages as serious and be as sensitive about them as possible. Because what is happening, whether you realize this or not, is that your brain is formulating ways to transfer the addiction to something else. That always happens. Anytime that you, the secret to really breaking an addiction is transferring your addiction to something else. And so what happens is that sometimes people, as they break an addiction, they won't even realize what is happening, but in the long run, they start to figure this out. Maybe they transferred their addiction to eating food, and that's why some people, when they quit smoking weed, in the long run, they'll end up gaining weight because they filled that void with drinking food. Or sometimes people, it'll turn to TV or video games, or or it can turn into another form of addiction of a different substance, such as alcohol or other drugs. And me personally, that's something that I, in the past, would always do. Whenever I tried quitting smoking weed, I would end up turning to alcohol. And all of a sudden, I would go a whole month without smoking any weed, but it was like, damn, I drank a lot throughout that month. It was like I was, drinking every day pretty much. Maybe not every single day, but I was, getting blacked out drunk on the weekends. This is just me personally. I was getting wasted, all weekend long, and throughout the week, I would, definitely need to have a beer or two or three or four, or wine after work at the end of the day to help relax, trying to fill that void of what weed used to do for me. And but what really the secret is you want to consciously, rather than unconsciously, transfer your addiction to something unhealthy. You want to consciously transfer this addiction to something healthy. So, for example, it could be reading, or maybe exercise. Exercise is what personally I have transferred my addiction over to. I exercise every single day. I don't take a day off, and many times I'll work out even twice throughout the day. I do yoga, I do all kinds of fitness. Fitness is, what I have transferred my addiction to. And so what you want to do is to find a healthy replacement that you can transfer your addiction to. Maybe it's yoga, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's reading books, maybe it's going for a walk, maybe it's gardening. Gardening is also a huge passion in mine. So a lot of times when I'm stressed out, I'll just go out and I'll spend an hour out in the garden messing around, planting things, digging weeds up, things like that. Or whatever, but try to consciously, and this may be something that you don't even really do. Maybe it's something that you've wanted to do. You wanted to start learning an instrument. You've wanted to learn to play the piano. Maybe you wanted to learn to, start doing yoga or start reading more. Well, now is the time. You're gonna have, more brain ability and more, free time, since you won't be getting high, and you're gonna be, more alone with your own thoughts. And so find something that you can transfer that addiction to, and start creating a new empowering habit, something that you can be a new addiction, what I like to call a magnificent obsession. Meaning, I'm addicted to exercising, but it's a magnificent obsession. It keeps me healthy, it keeps me energetic. It's something that, I love pushing myself to find out the limits of what is possible for my physical body. And so think about something that you can transfer your addiction to. And because alcohol, in my opinion, is one of the worst things that you can transfer your addiction. I don't drink. And in fact, some of you guys know, I also have a massive group for quitting alcohol with thousands of people in it. I have a YouTube channel, another YouTube channel dedicated just for helping people to quit alcohol. That's even bigger than this one currently. And the things that I have to deal with in the conversation that I have and the stories are nothing. I mean, that are just horrific. The weed stories and everything, it can be very devastating. I've heard a lot of heartbreaking stories and the suffering and the failed attempts to quit smoking weed, but it is nothing compared to the devastation and what I've seen and how alcohol has destroyed people's lives. Just yesterday I was having a conversation with a guy who's drinking a liter of vodka a day and considering committing suicide. So those are the type, and then also yesterday I was having a conversation with a guy who fortunately I was able to get him to go to the hospital because he drank so much that he was having he couldn't even breathe. He was having breathing problems. So the conversations and the things that I have to deal with from the alcoholics and the that I have to work with and deal with, it's just horrific. And I know a lot of people, say, oh, it's okay. I've never had a problem with alcohol. Weed has just been my problem. Well, nobody starts out to be an alcoholic. Nobody plans to be an alcoholic. They don't say, when I grow up, I'm going to be an alcoholic. But what happens is slowly, just like weed, slowly in time, it starts to build. What happened, just like with weed, for a lot of us, it went from being just a once in a while type of thing to all of a sudden an every weekend thing to all of a sudden being an every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday thing. And next thing you know, you're doing it every day, and then you're buying your own bags. And so the same kind of thing can happen with alcohol. And before you know it, you can't even imagine going 30 days without drinking alcohol. That's how most people are, and I also am a health coach. I coach people, and I tell them, hey, can you go this full 30 days without drinking any alcohol? And a lot of, and that sometimes scares people off just from coaching with me because, the thought of going 30 days without having a drink is just too much for people. And so alcohol is, one of the worst drugs in our society. It's kind of a hidden addiction. And so I don't recommend using alcohol to help you to get through quitting weed, even if you plan just to do it temporarily. I do not agree with that at all. Instead, I think you should consciously focus on finding a healthier alternative, something that you can consciously do to create a magnificent obsession, something that transfer your addiction over to something that is going to better your life. And that because if you're drinking to try to get through the first week of quitting weed, then you're gonna have to deal with hangovers and not feeling your best, and it's just going to make the whole process more difficult. Alcohol is a depressant. You're already going to be on an emotional roller coaster from quitting weed, so it's just in my opinion, a recipe disaster. Not something that I would recommend, and not something that I've seen in the people that have been the most successful at getting sober long term. This is not a decision that they decided to make, and this is not a course of action that they took. So that being said, guys, hope you have a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year. Let's make it a great life. See ya.